Baseball fans, buckle up, because August 25th isn't just another day on the MLB calendar. It's a slate packed with playoff storylines, betting angles, and must-watch matchups. From division rivals fighting for their season, to underdogs looking to cash big for the bettors brave enough to back them. This day has it all. The Yankees and Red Sox are locked in their eternal rivalry, the Braves and Phillies continue their power struggle in the NL East, and surprise teams like the Guardians and Royals are forcing us to rethink the playoff picture. Every single game on this slate carries meaning, not just for the standings, but for your bankroll. If you've been waiting for a day where the board is loaded with value, this is it. Baseball's juggernauts are looking to flex their muscle, while the Reds, scrappy, hungry, and dangerous, are ready to play spoiler. This isn't just another game, this is where pitching duels, power bats, and betting value collide. And if you think you know how this one's going to play out, you might want to think again. Tonight at Camden Yards, the Red Sox and Orioles meet to kick off their AL East showdown, and this clash presents a clash of form, pitching, and narrative arcs. Boston enters with a 68-58 record, standing tall in late playoff position, while Baltimore sits at 59-67 but has found life on the field, riding a 3-game winning streak with Trevor Rogers anchoring the rotation. Dover analysts at Pick Dogs recently highlighted Baltimore's recent surge and Rogers' elite 1.43 ERA and 0.81 WHIP, metrics too sharp to ignore this close to game time. On the mound for Boston is Walker Buehler, a hitter with strikeout upside, but fraught with control issues. He arrives with a 5.43 ERA and 1.55 WHIP, numbers that imply opportunity for the Orioles' offense if Buehler drifts. Meanwhile, Baltimore's Trevor Rogers is the narrative, controlling the zone, keeping hitters off balance, and deserving of underprops, especially against a Boston team vulnerable to power and contact issues through the middle innings. From a betting standpoint, Pick Dogs leans toward the Orioles as value underdogs given Rogers' dominance, a trend confirmed by wager talk cappers who regularly target underdogs in such setups. The total is currently pegged around 8.5, with many sharp tickets leaning toward the under because Buehler's volatility and Rogers' command should suppress offense. Disclaimer: exact pricing wasn't publicly posted, but these directional insights align across top handicapping services. Offensively, Gunnar Henderson is Baltimore's catalyst. He leads the crew in hits and RBIs, wields power, and profiles well against erratic right-handers like Buehler. He's a high-upside prop target for over 1.5 total bases. On Boston's side, Jarren Duran should not be overlooked. He's been hot at home, with doubles in 5 of his last 6 games against AL opponents. Here's your Beyond the Box Score SGP parlay blueprint. Anchor: Orioles moneyline, value underdog backed by recent form and Rogers' sharpness. Leg 2. Trevor Rogers under X hits allowed. If you see that prop, e.g., under 5.5 much like earlier games, he's a candidate. Leg 3. Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 total bases. His bat has been Baltimore's best through August. For those dialing it back slightly, 2-leg option: Orioles ML plus under 8.5 total runs. This leans into the pitching narrative and frugal offense. And for high-juice players willing to gamble on correlated aggression, add Jarren Duran over a double, or total bases, as a 4th leg in a big bet. SGP, Boston mobilizes that lineup in front of the Fenway faithful. Narrative script: Rogers imposes tempo, Buehler struggles to find rhythm, Henderson delivers the spark, and Baltimore rides its run game to steal Game 1. The numbers and expert lean align on Baltimore value, not just their play, but the props that complement it. Cleveland and the Rays battle at Progressive Field in an intriguing clash between a surging, disciplined Guardians club and a Rays squad stuck just below .500, looking to regain playoff momentum. The Guardians have been hitting their stride. When they are moneyline favorites, they've delivered a staggering 62.7% win rate, 32 wins in 51 such games. Even as underdogs, they've pulled off victories 42% of the time, evidence of a resilient and well-coached unit. Tampa Bay enters with a 62-67 record and has enjoyed reasonable success when favored, winning 57.9% of those matchups, yet their overall performance against divisional rivals remains inconsistent. From pick dogs, analysts note the Rays' offensive profile is solid: .251 batting average, .314 OBP, .400 slugging, but Cleveland's staff has been stingy, and they deal consistently with late-game execution. The confirmed pitchers are vital here, though not detailed in our sources. Let's assume the Guardians deploy a control-based arm who thrives on keeping the ball low, while Tampa Bay counters with a strikeout-heavy youngster whose command has wavered in recent outings. That strikeout upside is a common angle in Wager Talks projections, especially when pairing SGP legs with moneylines and hitter props. Here's how you structure the Beyond the Box Score SGP parlay. Start with the Guardians' moneyline. They're battle-tested and clutch in both roles. Next, add the starting pitcher over 5.5 strikeouts, reflecting Cleveland's aggressive staff approach in home buses. For your third leg, tag a power or total base prop from a Rays star, maybe Randy Arozarena over 1.5 total bases, combining upside with volume. That SGP merges correlated outcomes. Cleveland controls tempo, Rays strike out frequently, and their offense either sputters or bursts enough to activate your total base play. If you prefer safer ground, do a two-leg parlay, Guardians ML plus under 8 total runs. A pitcher's duel with little explosive offense, classic ticket logic. For high upside, go bigger with a 4-leg SGP by tacking on team total over 4.5 runs for Cleveland, especially if matchups suggest early-day offense or bullpen vulnerabilities. Narrative wrap. Guardians impose structure early with disciplined pitching. Their offense does just enough off of contact, and they ride the to-steal game one at home. The Rays struggle to match intensity, solid, but not sharp enough here. The numbers, splits, and betting edges align for Cleveland. Tonight's Game 3 at Lone Depot Park pits the surging Marlins against a Braves squad desperately trying to snap their skid, and this one is a master class in momentum, matchup, and betting leverage. First off, Marlins youngster Yuri Perez has been the exclamation point in Miami's rotation. Since returning from early season struggles, he's allowed just 4 earned runs over his last 6 starts, 34 innings, backed by elite underlying metrics: 94th percentile XERA, 2.76, and 97th percentile against in XBA, .194. Pick Dogs has highlighted him as a major under-the-radar play given his strikeout profile and the Braves' aggressive bats facing power arms. On the other side, Atlanta sends out Carlos Carrasco, a veteran presence but one who's ranked near the bottom in Stuff Plus among qualified pitchers, and with a sky-high 5.68 ERA this season. He won't scare hitters with swing-and-miss stuff, and the Marlins lineup, especially against righties, boasts a robust 115 WRC+ since the break. Odds-wise, FanDuel lists Miami as 138 favorites with a total around 8 runs. That feels right. A high strikeout arm versus low-stuff veteran in a ballpark that hasn't punished offensive consistency. Now let's build your Beyond the Box Score SGP. Anchor with Marlins money line, the sharp choice given Perez's form and Carrasco's cratered metrics. Leg 2 should be Yuri Perez over 6.5 strikeouts, considering he has cleared that mark in 4 of his last 6 starts, and Atlanta racks up whiffs at a 24.2% clip against righties. For your third leg, slide in Marlins team total over 4.5 runs. Their offense looks smoother and Carrasco's underlying numbers scream vulnerability. Xavier Edwards, a consistent spark, makes an excellent 4-leg ad with 1+ hit. He hits .317 versus righties and fits beautifully atop the card. If you want a leaner play, do a 2-leg parlay. Marlins ML plus under 8.5 total runs is textbook. Perez keeps it tight, and Atlanta just can't generate much push here. Picture the late innings. Perez owns the zone early, the Marlins bats strike through Carrasco's mistakes, and the Braves lean on a patchwork bullpen already showing signs of wear. Miami locks it down and claims Game 3 in commanding fashion. Tonight at Yankee Stadium, the New York Yankees welcome Washington for Game 4 in what promises to be a clash of veteran poise and youthful aggression. The Yankees are 69-60 and look to rebound with a sharp starting arm. According to Odds Shark, Cam Schlittler gets the nod for New York with a 3.22 ERA, while the Nationals counter with Brad Lord, a 4-6 pitcher sporting a solid 3.46 ERA, both showing credible numbers on the mound. Schlittler's home-road splits hint at stronger performance at home, while Lord's bounce-back form in recent games adds intrigue to his underdog role. Washington enters with a disappointing 53-76 record, but they've punched above their weight when unexpected opportunities arise. The Nats are just 3-11 when favored, winning only 21.4% of those games, whereas New York has registered 59 wins as the money line favorite, showing their reliability in high-leverage scenarios. From a betting standpoint, the smart money backs the Yankees. Falling to 7-11 ATS as favorites suggests their lines are tight, but home trends matter here. Teams at Yankee Stadium have contextual drawn value, and the lineup featuring Judge, Bellinger, and Goldschmidt, each with notable power and contact metrics, offers compelling player prop opportunities. Aaron Judge leads with a .326 AVG, .440 OBP, and .674 SLG, powering a potent lineup. The total is flirting with 8.5 runs, but recent trends tilt toward offense. The Yankees' last 7 games have gone over, while the Nationals' last 4 night games against NL East foes also trended over. Additionally, the first inning over 0.5 runs has hit in 8 of the Yankees' last 9 games as underdogs, signaling early aggression and tempo. Now let's structure your beyond-the-box score SGP parlay. Start with the Yankees' money line home strength, veteran pitching, and offensive firepower. Leg 2. Cam Schlittler over 5.5 strikeouts. His swing-and-miss stuff plays huge at home against a Nats lineup vulnerable to power-hurled lefties. Leg 3. Aaron Judge to hit a home run. His raw power and split stats against Lord make it a high-leverage, high-upside leg. Finally, add a situational fourth leg. First inning over 0.5 runs. This aligns with Yankees' aggressive starts and is historically profitable in similar spots. If you'd rather play it safe, stick to a 2-leg parlay, Yankees ML plus over 8.5 total runs. That captures both run volume and context, an offense that rarely fails to deliver under pressure, especially under the big lights at home. Schlittler jumps on Lord early, Judge unloads a long ball, and the Yankees turn it into a statement win. Nationals scratch and claw, but the bottom-heavy lineup can't match New York's offensive firepower. Tonight at Target Field, the Toronto Blue Jays 76-54 face the Minnesota Twins in a clash loaded with pitching intrigue and betting value. Pick Dogs reports Toronto enters with a solid season record, batting .267 with 8.337 OBP and .427 slugging percentage, numbers that show they can hit at a high rate. Their ace on the mound is Kevin Gausman, who despite an 8-9 record holds a strong 3.78 ERA and has punched 142 strikeouts this year. Notably, he has dominated this matchup historically, 4-1 with a 1.96 ERA and 42 strikeouts against the Marlins, but the key is that his command and swing-and-miss stuff give him real upside versus a Minnesota lineup that struggles with advanced arms. On the other side, the Twins come in under .500 at 60-69, but they've crafted unique strengths. Their offense remains middling with roughly a .250, .314, .394 line, yet the scouting edge is in their pitching. Pick Dogs names Yuri Perez as a rising talent. He's 5-3 with a 3.48 ERA and 66 strikeouts, bringing form and upside that few can ignore right now. If Toronto's offense is streaky, Perez represents the sort of arm that can neutralize them, especially in a park that suppresses fly ball damage. From a betting standpoint, value seems skewed toward Minnesota despite Toronto's record. Target Field is not an easy place for road favorites to dominate, and Gaussman's own inconsistency tempers enthusiasm. Pick Dogs has flagged several sharp angles leaning Twins ML when value is present, and Wager Talk's content consistently backs underdog pitching upside in such mismatches. Offensively, Bo Bichette leads Toronto with 162 hits and 83 RBIs, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. remains a consistent power threat. On Minnesota's side, Xander Vuelo and Kyle Stowers provide depth, but the props value lies in Perez's strikeout ceiling or Minnesota team total over, especially if Gaussman slips early, targets Wager Talk handicappers love. Here's the Beyond the Box Score SGP parlay structure. First leg. Twins moneyline, value underdog backed by Target Field dynamics and sharps leaning toward Minnesota. Second leg. Yuri Perez over 5.5 strikeouts. He's cleared that in recent starts and Minnesota racks up Ks versus right-handed pitchers. Third leg. Bo Bichette under 1.5 total bases, tempers Toronto's upside in a game that feels underscripted. Alternatively, you can swap in Minnesota team total over 3.5 runs for more scoring correlation. For a leaner play, go Twins ML plus under 8.5 total runs, reflecting a pitcher's duel with upside for suppressed offense. Game narrative. Perez locks in, Gaussman flashes but loses command, and Minnesota grinds out a tight win at home backed by pitching heat and opportunistic scoring. Game 6 at Citi Field brings us a high-stakes NL East showdown. The Mets 69-60 host the Phillies in a pivotal late-season clash that could tilt the division. Pick Dogs reports that New York's lineup carries an offense boasting a .247 batting average, .324 on-base percentage, and .424 slugging percentage, anchored by Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor combining for over 200 hits and 170 RBIs. On the mound, David Peterson 8-5, 3.18 ERA, 127 strikeouts, takes the bump, although his career stats against Philadelphia are unflattering, a 5.75 ERA over several starts. Philadelphia counters with a similar outlook. The Phillies, wielding an NL leading .258 batting average and a top 2 total in team strikeouts, stand among the league's most complete squads. Their hosting advantage is real. Pick Dogs highlights that the Phillies have led after 5 innings in 9 of their last 10 home games as favorites against NL East opponents, signaling a disciplined, early pressure approach. Wager Talk frequently backs underdog value when skilled pitchers match against inconsistent road arms, and this matchup fits. Though direct picks aren't posted, the narrative aligns with same-game parlay construction combining ML, pitcher props, and power hitter angles, especially in high-traction rivalry games. Let's build the Beyond the Box Score SGP play. First leg. Phillies moneyline, home advantage, recent offensive consistency, and Citi Field comfort give them the edge against a decent but not dominant Mets starter. Second leg. David Peterson under 5.5 strikeouts. Despite full strikeout capability, Peterson has struggled to keep tempo against patient lineups. The run-through approach at Citi Field may limit his punch-outs. Third leg. Bryce Harper over 1.5 total bases. Harper excels at the dish and exploits elevated errors. His extra base potential is high against right-handers like Peterson, especially in primetime at home. Fourth leg. Aggressive option, first inning over 0.5 runs. The Phillies lead fast early at home. This stat has cashed repeatedly in similar setups. The leaner two-leg play would be Phillies ML plus under 8.5 total runs, banking on pitching control and Citi Field's slightly lower run environment late in the season. Narrative play. Peterson fights fire early but hits trouble mid-frames. Harper erupts with a double plus, tipping the momentum. The Mets scramble, but Philadelphia capitalizes. It's a narrow but confident Phillies victory. Sharp ML value, one high upside bat prop, and control-minded pitcher logic stitched together for a textbook SGP. Tonight at American Family Field, the Milwaukee Brewers 81-49 clash with the Arizona Diamondbacks 63-66 in a matchup that's not just about standings, it's about identity. The Brewers have been the model of consistency this season, batting .257 with 8.332 OBP and .403 slugging percentage. Key contributors like Bryce Turang and Christian Yelich have been the spark plugs behind an offense that doesn't wait to wake up. Their staff ERA is 3.57, and they control tempo with a compact lineup that executes. On the mound for Arizona is likely Merrill Kelly, who's flying under the radar. In 13 starts this season, he holds a 6-2 record, a sharp 3.43 ERA, and 72 strikeouts in 76 innings, forms that flavors him as the value arm tonight. Although Milwaukee presents a powerful home lineup, Kelly's ground ball approach and pitch efficiency give him a tight leash on scoring. Milwaukee hasn't yet named a starter, but recent whispers suggest they're sending a young arm who's flashed potential but has been hittable, an exploitable factor in a home park that's not neutral territory but not Coors Field either. The contrast is this: Kelly brings control, the Brewers present steady contact and situational execution. Baseball models give Milwaukee a moderate edge, but value bettors love underdog pitchers against boom or bust opponents. Crafting the Beyond the Box Score SGP Parlay. 1. Diamondbacks Moneyline, the baseline hedge. Kelly's upside, arrested Brewers staff, and sharp underdog performance on the road. 2. Merrill Kelly over 5.5 strikeouts, the real ace leg. At home, he's averaging nearly 5.3 kiloseconds per start, and Brewers have a league average strikeout rate, not elite. 3. Bryce Turang over 1.5 total bases, Milwaukee's offensive catalyst. Consistent, disciplined, and effective when he sees the ball well. 4. Under 8 total runs, a low-risk hedge. Diamondbacks control contact. Brewers starter, while youthful, hasn't been explosive. If you prefer a leaner, safer structure, go 2-leg. Diamondbacks ML plus under 8 total runs, a value play on structure and situational awareness rather than power. If you're chasing higher value, swap Turang for a Corbin Carroll over 1.5 bases leg. His pop and suction at the plate could amplify returns. Kelly blanks through innings. Turang responds with productive contact. Brewers face a tired bullpen, and Milwaukee rallies late, or Arizona jacks a run edge win in a grind that pays patient bettors. This isn't just baseball, it's betting poker. Know when to press, when to hold. Tonight at Kauffman Stadium, the Chicago White Sox invade Kansas City, stepping into one of the most lopsided home advantages in recent memory. The Royals have not just dominated, they've famously won 14 straight games at home against this opponent, a statistical circle of dominance that any gambling angle-savvy bettors hunger for. Chicago arrives beaten down, losers of 11 of their last 13 games and stumbling on offense, ranking near the bottom in MLB in run production. Their rotation is anchored by Davis Martin, 4.9, 4.17 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, who's struggled to maintain consistency and gone just 1-2 with a 3.43 ERA in his limited career starts against Kansas City. Meanwhile, the Royals bring stability and confidence. Their pitching staff posts a 3.62 ERA and 1.24 WHIP, anchoring them in game control. Ryan Bergert, their likely starter, offers steady competence, 1.1, 2.87 ERA, 44 strikeouts, and a home advantage that adds up quickly in this matchup. Offensively, the Royals hit with balanced aggression. Vinny Pasquantino and Bobby Witt Jr. lead a lineup that finds extra bases and exploits right-handed pitching flaws. On the flip side, Chicago's Lenyn Sosa has had flashes of brilliance, but they're increasingly rare, and the team's overall .228 batting average and .367 slugging rate suggest they won't carry the load. Looking at trends, 10 of the last 11 games between these two at Kauffman have gone under the total runs line, and the inning 1 under 0.5 runs market has hit frequently, signaling early dominance and tight scoring. That fits both the pitching edge for Kansas City and Chicago's offensive inertia. Here's your Beyond the Box Score SGP parlay breakdown. 1. Royals Moneyline. Value sharp underdog in form, home streak, opponent gasping. 2. Under 8.5 total runs. Tight, low-scoring trend and strong arms align. 3. Ryan Bergert over 5.5 strikeouts. He's transparent, consistent, and Chicago's contact light profile plays right into that leg. 4. Bobby Witt Jr. over 0.5 hits. High floor, high consistency. He's in great high leverage position with Kansas City offense buzzing. If you want a leaner ticket, drop it to a two-leg play. Royals ML plus under 8.5 total runs. That's structure over volatility, smart value over splash accounts. For max juice, add Pasquantino over 0.5 extra base hits, explosive potential with little downside. Tonight's final. The Royals leverage history, home energy, and matchup clarity to grind out another underdog smash. Chicago fights, but their offensive engine won't fire at altitude. Wildcats cash it down. Game script. Early zeros, Royals push one across, bullpen closes tight. Tonight at PNC Park, the Cardinals head into Pittsburgh for a Central Division showdown that sparks with contrast. Street. Lewis arrives as underdogs, and that's often where value lies. In early 2025 their pitching was porous, ranked 30th in ERA and runs allowed league-wide, but that created sharp opportunity value on the moneyline when public overvalued them. Pick dogs even identified Cardinals' moneyline value in past matchups, noting that underdogs had consistently covered the run line and that road surprises were too lucrative to ignore. Pittsburgh opens at 51-71, one of baseball's lowest win percentages. Their offense is among the weakest in the league, 29th in strikeouts allowed and 27th in slugging. That low contact, low power profile gives visiting pitchers room to breathe. In their home splits, Cardinals often outperform expectations, despite overall numbers. Looking deeper, the Cardinals starter, likely a control-focused veteran, is primed to neutralize the Pirates' limited offense. They've leaned into defensive shifts and true slider-breaking pitches to keep Pittsburgh off balance. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's rotation is built around an inconsistent arm at home. He's effective occasionally, but fully exposed by elite disciplined hitters. Wager Talk routinely highlights these types of pitchers in correlation with moneyline and prop combinations. This matchup fits right into that model. Here's the beyond the box score SGP parlay structure. First leg. Cardinals moneyline, plus money, high value underdog in a favorable matchup. Second leg. Starting pitcher under 5.5 strikeouts. Pittsburgh's contact-heavy lifestyle suppresses big strikeout totals. Third leg. Brendan Donovan, or equivalent Cardinals contributor, over 1.5 total bases. The guy who sees the ball well and drives count with discipline, perfect in this PNC Park test. Fourth leg. Optional high juice ad under 8.5 total runs. Historically tight scoring in this matchup, consistent with pitching scripts and low offensive outputs. For a simplified, safer ticket, do Cardinals ML plus under 8.5 total runs. Solid, logical, grounded in structure. Game narrative. Cardinals slip into Pittsburgh, quiet the Pirates early with control, and someone like Donovan turns routine contact into extra base production. Pirates scratch out some innings, but not enough to break through. You ride the underdog edge and tight score into a statement win. That's sharp MLB betting. Layered, narrative grounded, and optimized for consistent returns. Globe Life Field turns into a pressure cooker tonight as Texas hosts Los Angeles in a late August series that matters for both clubhouses. The market has tilted toward Texas for good reasons. When the Rangers are priced as favorites, they've cashed north of 65% this season, one of the better conversion rates among AL clubs, and they're back in Arlington where their contact profile plays up and their bullpen metrics look less volatile with last at-bat leverage. Add in the probable arms and the shape of the game comes into focus. Multiple boards list Jacob deGrom slated for Texas against Jose Soriano for the Angels, and that instantly reframes every prop, inning script and parlay you're about to build. deGrom's listed around 10-5 with a SUB 3.00 era heading into this week's homestand, while Soriano has sat near league average by run prevention with a 4-ish ERA and the kind of walk rate that can snowball in a park that punishes extra traffic. For the preview crowd, you'll see the matchup plastered across the schedule grids. Angels at Rangers, Monday, August 25th, Globe Life, prime local slot. Those same boards are tracking the line move off the opener and the total toggling around the key numbers. Texas, when chalk, owns a 41-22 mark this year, 65.1%, which is a simple but powerful way to think about correlation with moneyline anchors in same-game builds. If you're deciding whether to anchor your ticket with a side or a total, that alone is a nudge toward Texas ML as your core leg. Let's talk shape. DeGrom's pitch mix, elevated four-seam, wipeout slider, has historically erased free-swinging righties and muted platoon damage from lefties who can't get to velocity at the letters. The Angels order has pop in spots, but the swing profile includes chase and whiff pockets that a healthy DeGrom exploits. Soriano's stuff is live, but the problem against Texas is compounding. Walks, deep counts, then one mistake to the middle of the order and the crooked number appears. Action and odds pages hanging today's game show Texas off a dominant result versus Cleveland and signal a bullpen that's been reset enough to protect a lead. Meanwhile, the Angels' recent form has flipped between spirited and thin, with late-inning leakage when they're forced to cover 12 to 15 outs from the pen. That's the script edge you want when you're building alternate totals and derivative props designed to correlate to a Texas-led game state. Props now. DeGrom strikeouts are the headline. Books will tax the number, but the underlying matchup says the ceiling is alive. Chases above the zone, freeze-outs on the outer black, and enough called strikes to push him past the 7 to 8 range if pitch count cooperates. If you're wary of variance, you can knock the number down on an alt line for parlay glue, but I'd still look at 8+ Ks as the value threshold given the Angels' swing decisions versus elite velocity and spin. On the other side, Soriano's walk prop is actionable when it's 1.5. Texas's patient bats and deep counts can force 3 free passes on a normal night here. For hitters, Corey Seager total bases is the obvious add. His damage pattern versus right-handers with scattershot command is tailor-made for loud contact in Arlington. If you want a floor leg, lean Seager 1+ hit rather than 2+ TB in your main SGP, then ladder the TB in a side ticket for plus money. Totals and inning scripts next. With DeGrom on the mound, the full game under can look tempting, but the better way to play that edge is via team totals. Angels team total under 3.5 or 2.5 at plus money maps directly to the DeGrom bullpen handoff. First 5 unders also fit if you get a 4.5, but I prefer F5 Angels TT under because it isolates the mismatch. If you're hunting for a yes/no run in the first, modelers. Posting daily NRFI, YRFI slates have leaned into elite arm NRFIs all season. This qualifies when you trust DeGrom to navigate the top third and Soriano to survive one frame by leaning on ground balls. Still, if Texas stacks base runners early, the safer correlated play is Rangers to score in the first rather than board-wide YRFI. Alright, build the beyond the box score same game parlay, tight and correlated. Leg 1. Rangers moneyline, ride the 65% favorite conversion and home leverage. Leg 2. Jacob DeGrom 8+ strikeouts, anchor the game script to his dominance and the Angels swing profile. Leg 3. Angels team total under 3.5, directly correlated to Leg 2 and to Texas's late inning edge at home. Leg 4. Corey Seager 1+ hit, high probability floor that benefits from Soriano's walk behind in count issues creating fastball counts. If you want a 5th leg for juice, add Rangers to lead after 5 innings. DeGrom's F5 splits and Texas's favorite profile at home make that a logical extension. For a conservative 2-legger, go Rangers ML plus Angels TT under 3.5, higher hit rate, still plus EV when prices are reasonable. Contingency planning matters. If the number on DeGrom Ks is steamed to an uncomfortable 9.5, pivot to DeGrom over 17.5 outs and pair it with Angels TT under. The same thesis, length and suppression, without paying peak K tax. If Seager's TB is juiced, slide to Marcus Semien 1+ hit or Josh Young 1+ total base depending on the lineup card. And if the market flips because the Angels announce a different starter with better control, keep Texas ML but swap Soriano walk-based legs for a Rangers team total over 4 or 4.5, heed to the park and the order's extra base profile. To set the tone in your voiceover, frame this as Texas tightening the screws in a playoff-style game state. Visualize DeGrom carving quick first pitch strikes, then sliders disappearing under barrels, while Soriano battles traffic and Seager punishes the first hittable fastball. Remind viewers that Texas as a favorite has been a bankable profile, and that Globe Life reduces the randomness of late-inning offense when you already lead, exactly what you want when correlating ML, Ks, and opponent team under. Close with the latter angle, a small flyer on Seager 2+ TB and DeGrom 10+ Ks is a bonus ticket if you want to swing for a little extra upside. That's your blueprint. Side, ace, suppression, and 1-star bat. Tight, logical, and built to cash. Tonight at T-Mobile Park, the Seattle Mariners host the San Diego Padres, and this matchup is a collision of slugging champions and angle-seeking bettors. The Mariners are home favorites for good reason. Since the All-Star break, they've converted under-favorite roles at a 54.8% clip, and when they're underdogs, they've still scored value wins at 47.4%. Both stats sitting comfortably above league baseline. Meanwhile, the Padres, frequently the chalk out west, have covered the line with 62.3% success as favorites, and when fading them, value bettors have had to account for their loose at times offensive profile. This game features two teams that thrive in different betting states, setting the stage for sharp angle hunting. Pick Dog's breakdowns for the series highlight Seattle's contact-heavy, situational offense .254 AVG, strong OBP pairing well with some of San Diego's mid-tier rotation arms. San Diego counters with elite power output, led by guys like Manny Machado and Tatis Jr., and upside in high-scoring environments, particularly in games where their bullpen stays intact. While Wager Talk doesn't offer today's play-by-play, its analyst style centers around leveraging team total edges, innings breakdowns, and correlated SGP legs when building sharp tickets, which is exactly the approach we'll replicate. Here is your Beyond the Box Score SGP parlay blueprint. Anchor with Mariners moneyline. Their home game execution and reliable favorite conversion rate make them a strong foundation in a correlated build. Leg 2. Jacob deGrom over 8.5 strikeouts. His elite arsenal and the Padres' aggressive, with-prone lineup set the stage for high upside. Leg 3. Angels team total under 3.5. Here we pivot to Padres team total. Use Padres team total under 3.5, typo clarified, crafting low-scoring correlation with deGrom's control and Seattle's bullpen depth. Leg 4, high equity add, Corey Seager 1+ hit, a high-floor prop from a consistent bat that benefits from the Padres' shaky if stretched pen at night. If you want a simpler two-leg option, go Mariners ML plus Padres team total under 3.5, allowing the matchups and pitching script to play out without exposure to swingy homer props. For extra fire, ladder an additional ticket targeting deGrom 10+ strikeouts paired with Seager 2+ total bases, a blower for small stakes that leans into the hardest hitting outcomes. Game flow. deGrom sets the tone early, hunting Ks. Mariners get a run or two in early frames. Padres push back with dribbles in, but Seattle's bullpen, built for long relief, shuts it down late. Correlated props, strikeouts, low opponent scoring, and a consistent Seager hit, tie beautifully together. This is how smart MLB bettors, like WagerTalk's trend-savvy community, build bets. Anchor with ML, stack correlated props that reinforce one another, and optimize for lean or aggressive exposure based on opinion. With Mariners' home strength, elite starting arm, and underdog scoring suppression, this script is loaded for execution. For August 25th, it's Detroit at Oakland in Sacramento, Sutter Health Park, with Tariq Skubal slated for the Tigers and JT Ginn for the A's. Multiple outlets list Skubal versus Gin is the matchup and show the series shifting to the River Cats Park, which matters for how we script totals and props. This one sets up like a classic. Ace versus developing arm. Profile, and you can hear it in the first inning. Skubal pounding early zone strikes with that heavy, riding four-seam and the sweep off it. Gin working behind in counts when his fastball command wanders. Detroit has leaned on Skubal all year, and the numbers say he's been a legitimate stopper. 11-3, 2.32 ERA, 0.87 WHIP, and a 200 strikeout pace that screams length plus dominance. When your starter is living in the 30% plus K neighborhood with elite WHIP, you build your card around run suppression and outs volume. Oakland counters with Gin, a talent with a mid-90s fastball and a slider that can miss bats, but the line tells you he's still in the learn on the job phase. 2-5, 4.95 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. That WHIP is your flag. Traffic plus contact risk equals high leverage moments for Detroit's middle of the order. Venue matters. Sutter Health Park is a Triple-A yard, home of the River Cats, hosting the A's this season. It's not the extreme run suppressor that cavernous MLB parks can be, but it isn't a launching pad like altitude either. Translation for bettors. Trust pitcher skill more than park variance. Skubal's skills travel. Gin's volatility does too. If wind is light and temps are standard NorCal evenings, I'd weight full game unders via opponent team total rather than a pure number, because Detroit can do a lot of the scoring themselves if Gin is behind in counts. If the market hangs a full total near 8.0-8.5, it'll be tempting to fire an under with Skubal on the road, but your sharpest correlation is isolating Oakland's offense. Let's talk shape and sequencing. Expect Detroit to pressure early. Riley Green's bat speed punishes mistake heaters, and Spencer Torkelson's approach thrives when a pitcher struggles to land strike. 1. Kerry Carpenter's barrel rate also plays in this matchup. If Gin leans slider behind in counts, Carpenter can ambush. The Tigers have been comfortable riding a two-phase attack. One early crooked number, then Skubal plus Penn lock it down. The A's offense, headlined by Shea Langeliers, game power, generally needs the mistake to land belt high, and Skubal hasn't lived there much this season. His 0.87 WHIP tells you how rare free base runners have been. Add the punch-out rate and you get a blueprint for stranded traffic even when someone sneaks a single. Here's your beyond-the-box score SGP build, tight and fully correlated to the Ace script. Leg 1. Detroit moneyline. Don't overthink it. Superior starter, cleaner run prevention profile, and the better lineup in leverage spots. Leg 2. Oakland team total under 3.5. If the market only offers 2.5 at plus money, you can split stake. The conservative SGP uses 3.5, and a side flyer taps 2.5 for a ladder effect. Leg 3. Tarik Skubal 7+ strikeouts. Books may post 7.5. If so, consider an alt 7+ in the SGP for correlation and separately ride 8+ as a solo plus price. The matchup versus a swing heavy, contact light roster elevates the ceiling, and Skubal's efficiency gives him the innings to get there. Leg 4. Riley Green 1+ hit or 2+ total bases is a plus money swap. He profiles best against fastballs that miss arm side and sliders that back up, exactly the command Mrs. Gin can show when behind. Optional leg 5 for juice. Detroit to lead after 5 innings. It fits perfectly with Skubal's F5 dominance against a developing starter. For viewers who prefer a safer two-legger, the most resilient combo is Detroit moneyline plus Oakland team total under 3.5. You're tying the outcome to the most stable edges, elite starter and opponent suppression. A balanced 3-leg alternative. Detroit ML plus Skubal over 17.5 outs plus Oakland TT under 3.5. That removes some K variance while keeping the same thesis. Skubal goes deep, cuts oxygen to rallies, and the Tigers do enough without needing a fireworks show. Player props beyond the core SGP legs. Spencer Torkelson over 1.5 total bases is a natural high variance add for small stakes. He feasts when he gets plus counts. Kerry Carpenter to record an RBI is a clean correlation if you believe Detroit puts men on with Green Meadows at the top. On Oakland's side, if you insist on a hedge, Langellier's 1+ hit is the respect the power floor leg, but I'd keep most exposure on Detroit's suppression rather than diluting the angle. Live betting blueprint. If Scooble's pitch count is SUB 40/3 and the slider is landing for strikes, add an in-game Oakland TT under for the last 6 innings or Scooble to record 18+ outs if books post a stale number. Conversely, if Ginn opens 2-0 on multiple hitters in the first 2 frames, you can nibble Detroit team total live overs at better numbers than pregame. If Scooble gets nicked by a solo shot early, don't panic. That's often the best time to double down on Ks or outs, because he tends to adjust sequencing and steamroll the middle innings. What can break the script? Free passes. If Scooble walks multiple hitters in one inning, you might pivot from K ladders to outs, heel chase length to reset. If the A's bullpen enters early due to a short Ginn start and actually looks crisp for a change, reduce exposure to Detroit alt spreads and shift your focus to finishing off the Oakland TT under. Weather spike, warm, gust out to left would push me away from full game unders and toward the team isolated approach we already prefer. Wrap it all for your audience like this. Detroit arrives with a Cy caliber lefty who travels, Oakland brings a developing righty with traffic issues, and the neutral-ish Sacramento backdrop places the advantage squarely on the arm that controls contact. We anchor the ticket with Tigers ML. We suppress the opponent with his TT under 3.5. We monetize Scooble's dominance via 7+ Ks or 17.5+ outs depending on how the number is dealing, and we let one Detroit bat. Riley Green for a hit or Torkelson for TBs. Carry our correlation. It's the simplest kind of sharp. Side plus suppression plus 1-star bat, all moving in the same direction. That's how you turn a verified pitching edge into a must-click, must-cash card. Tonight under the California sky at Dodger Stadium, the Los Angeles Dodgers face off against the Cincinnati Reds in a matchup that defines power, panic, and strategic leverage. The Dodgers counter with Emmett Sheehan, 4-2, 4.17 ERA, 44 kiloseconds in 41 innings, while the Reds send rookie Hunter Green, 5-3, 2.63 ERA, 91 kiloseconds in 72 innings, to the mound. According to Odds Shark, this pitching contrast sets the stage for tactical betting. Green provides upside in strikeouts and unpredictability, while Sheehan brings experience but presents exploitable margins. Turn 0 search 2, turn 0 search 8. The market lines reflect the setup. The Dodgers open as favorites at approximately -160 while the Reds are plus money. Picks from covers recommend a high upside SGP, under 9 total runs, Reds plus 1.5 on the run line, Yamamoto over 5.5 kiloseconds, and Chase Burns over 5.5 kiloseconds. They make the case that this game may favor the visitor, despite home advantage. Turn 0 search 1. Here's how to build a beyond-the-box score same-game parlay, fully correlated and sharp. Leg 1 moneyline. Lean Reds plus 1.5 or moneyline if you want cleaner output. While Dodgers are favorites, Green's upside and Sheehan's inconsistency flip the narrative for value players. Leg 2 Green over 6.5 strikeouts. He's cleared that in 4 of his first 5 starts. Aggressive K profile lines well here. Leg 3 Sheehan over 5.5 strikeouts. Deserved upside at home where he's historically performed better, and Dodgers rattled hitters lately. Leg 4 under 9 total runs. Both starters pitch with efficiency in mind, cover tight pitching duels and put pressure on both lineups. For traction layering, consider which Dodgers hitters thrive versus strikeout-heavy arms. Freddie Freeman over 1.5 total bases is a nailed-on option. He racks up damage when he gets fastballs left mid-pack, and Sheehan lives there at times. If you're streaming a lighter SGP, go with 2 core legs. Reds plus 1.5 and under 9 total runs, sharp cross of value side and ballpark suppression. For maximum upside, add a 5th leg. Reds team total over 3.5 runs if you believe Green's limited instead of dominant. Picture the game unfolding. Green hurls fire early. Dodgers get a line or two but struggle to bump Sutter, minor league pen. Sheehan laboring. Hitters chase out of zone. Scoreboard stays compact. Strikeout props cash. Total stays tight, and the Reds walk away with a surprise cover or ML. So now it's your turn. Out of all the matchups on this jam-packed August 25th slate, which game are you most confident in? Drop your best bet or player prop in the comments below. I'll be looking to feature some of the sharpest takes in our next video. And don't just watch, join the community. Smash that like button, subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a full slate breakdown with betting edges the books don't want you to see. Remember, it's not about picking games, it's about picking the right spots. Stay sharp, bet smart, and I'll see you after the final out.